Hi guys, welcome to my channel and yeah, welcome to this vlog video. I thought I would do a vlog video partly because I have like a bit of a life update, so I thought I would update you in more of like a vloggy style video, and also because these are some of my favourite videos to watch on YouTube, so I thought I would give it a try actually creating one as well. So yeah, I hope you like this video. If you do, comment below. And yeah, so yeah, life update wise, basically I've just been made redundant for the third time. So if you don't know about me, I work as an interior designer. I've worked for the same company for just under 6 years, and yeah, I've been working on more sort of care home style projects, which is something that I had previously worked in before as well. But over my entire career I've done all sorts of projects, from high-end residential, bars, restaurants, cafes and care homes. So yeah, it was a bit of a shock if I'm honest, but I think I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, and I do just think this is actually a really positive thing to happen, even though it's just before Christmas and I'm actually also pregnant. So yeah, not the best timing, but equally probably the best timing, because it means that I'm kind of forced into a position of creating a business for myself, which is something that I had wanted to do for a few years now. Since the pandemic, I kind of realised that like the 9 to 5, Monday to Friday kind of job wasn't really for me in the long term, partly because when we have children, so we already have a 2-year-old and now we're having our second baby, there's all sorts of things that just make working a 9 to 5 a little bit complicated. And I understand that a lot of people don't have a choice, that they have to go to work 9 to 5, or that's something that they want to do, and that is completely fine. But I'm in the position where I could grow a business and I could freelance and do my own work and have a lot more flexibility. So I'm taking this as a bit of a sign from the universe that that's what I'm supposed to be doing now, because I wanted to do it. I didn't like my job that I've been in for the last 6 years. For the last sort of couple of years at least, it's been particularly tricky and just not very enjoyable. Obviously there are aspects of it that I loved, a lot of the people that I formed a lot of friendships with, and I will miss that aspect of working for a company and having people around you, etc. However, the pros don't outweigh the cons. So the cons being not having the flexibility with like working from home and things as much as I would like to, and sort of feeling very torn when my child is ill and I have to go and be at home with her. That can make things really tricky, and not being able to like really be flexible around that. I'm not saying that they weren't good in the respect of like, they obviously did just say to me like, oh, go home, you know, do what you can kind of thing. It wasn't that they necessarily were particularly tricky about it, it's just that I found it particularly difficult in terms of like that juggling side of things. So I have been wanting to create a business for a long time. It took me like 2 or 3 kind of ideas to get to the point where I was like, oh, actually no, I think this is really what I want to do. So my business, if you haven't already seen it come up on my YouTube before, or if you haven't come across me at all, I have started an e-commerce website where I design and sell cushions, wallpaper, just general home accessories, but then I also have like furniture as well that I sell. My whole sort of ethos and goal that I want to achieve is creating more sustainable, eco-friendly homeware, whether that's through the cushions and wallpaper or the furniture. So every product, every brand that I work with or supply, etc., will be sustainable, ethical, and eco-friendly. Part of what also adds into that is that it's like more of a print on demand, so everything is made to order, which means that there's no sort of like waste products at the end of a season, etc. And I purposefully have gone down that route because I really want to make sure that the products that I'm selling aren't adding to the amount of waste that is created. So the products that I sell are at a higher price point, but that's partly due to the fact that I want these products to be seen as more of an investment rather than just something that is for a season or two. So yeah, it's a really exciting time and I'm genuinely really excited. There's so many other things that I wanted to do. As you've seen this morning, I've been for a walk, I've done some meditation, and like that is just what I wanted out of my day. Like I wanted to be able, so like going back to the pandemic for a second, when so I worked during the pandemic for the company that have just made me redundant, and one of the things that really came out of the pandemic for me that I actually really loved was being able to go on like daily walks. It was something that me and my husband still does it when he works from home, which he works from home 3 days a week. He still gets up in the morning, goes for a walk, still goes for a lunchtime walk, still goes for a walk in the evenings. And I personally found it had such a positive effect on my mental health and my physical health. And I just loved having that daily practice, and I continued doing it until my little girl was born, so 2 years ago. And yeah, it's just been something that obviously now that I've been back at work for just under a year, it's just not been something that I've been able to achieve, and I've really missed having that as like a daily practice in my life. Also meditation, just having that time to really focus on my breathing to help with like my anxiety and things like that. So having that time and like really making that something that I focus on integrating into my daily routine is something that I've been really missing, and I'm really excited about being able to incorporate it back into my routine, at least for the 3 days a week. So when I went back to work after my daughter was born, I only actually went back to work 3 days a week. So I'm going to try and continue that as much as I can. I'll obviously have to work potentially a couple of evenings and stuff like that just to make up some of the time if I need to. But really what I want to be able to achieve with my brand and with my business is just to create so much of a better work-life balance, and to be able to, yeah, really have that flexibility and focus on me again. I feel like it's quite a common thing when you've had a baby, but I think it's also quite common when you start like working quite intense, and particularly in quite intense roles. The company that I worked for was incredibly busy, which is why it was a bit of a shock being made redundant. But yeah, we were incredibly busy, and it was just a lot. It was just constant, all the time, things being thrown at you. And yeah, when you're working in that environment, being able to still feel like you have some form of identity, I think is really tricky. And it takes a lot of like setting boundaries and making sure that you integrate those routines, etc., into your daily routine to actually form like, or feel like you have some form of like self and who you are as a person. So I do feel like motherhood has taken a lot of that. It's a huge thing to navigate when you become a mother, to then really feel like you have an identity after that, but then equally going back to work and being a mum has just added on to that pressure. I felt like I had a much better balance of it when I was on maternity leave, which is obviously, I mean, maternity leave looks very different for a lot of different people. I was fortunate to take 13 months off, and I just felt like, as much as it was hard work, I'm not going to shy away from the fact that it was hard work, and it definitely had its challenges. I did feel like I had like a better balance on like, and feeling like I had some sort of identity, and then going back to work kind of stripped what I did have completely away. So I'm glad to be able to be in a position where I almost am like, I'm unemployable because I'm pregnant, and yeah, it's just not great timing. Our baby's due next summer, so I'm not really that employable right now, and that in a way is like a good thing, because it's meaning that it's forcing me into, right, you have to do what you set out to do a couple of years ago, and now's your time. So yeah, if you are at all interested in the products that we are selling, then I will leave a link below, and feel free to leave any sort of feedback. I would be really interested to hear what you have to say, whether it's products that you think are missing or things that you think would look like if I tweaked it a little bit, or anyway, whatever it is that you have in terms of feedback, I would love to hear it. As I said, the products that we're selling are a higher price point, and I hope, I do believe like the product quality is at that price point, so I'm really excited. I've got some samples that have come in, so I'm going to go through those a bit later on today. And I do actually already have some freelance work, so I'm going to also do a bit of work on that today as well. But yeah, I thought I would just take you along on like a bit of a day in the life video, just to sort of see what it's like when you're setting up a new business. And yeah, if anyone who is watching this has also just set up a new business or just been made redundant and you are looking to set up a business, then feel free to contact me, or leave a comment, leave a link to your business, and yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so I'm really excited. I know it's like a weird thing, but like I said, I'm a big believer that everything happens for a reason. So yeah, I just think now is the time to do this for me. So yeah. So I've just had a delivery of some sample fabrics in the designs that I've created for the spring summer collection next year. So I had already had some samples come through, which are here. So I initially looked at like a cotton linen blend for my cushions. So we have a few designs, and I've just been like, initially I had everything sampled on a cotton linen fabric, but I've also just had, so I had those through a few weeks ago. One of my samples, the scale was wrong, so I decided to get some more samples done and also look at a couple of other options for the fabrics. So so this is how the samples come in. This fabric is actually a velvet fabric, and I really like this, I think, for stripes. So previously, before, I've had this cushion, which I designed a couple of years ago. It was a sample. I got the the pattern didn't line up properly, so I fixed that issue. You can actually buy this cushion on my website currently. And then I do actually have this sample cushion, which is the cotton linen fabric. I love this fabric. I'm naturally more drawn to like linens and like the sort of softer, more natural fabrics anyway. But yeah, I got this as a sample one. I didn't get it printed on both sides, but if you buy cushions from my website, they will either have the same pattern on the reverse, or I would get like I would maybe pick up on like this blue, again on the cotton linen for the background. So yeah, I've just been looking at all the samples that have come through. The other sample fabric that I've had is like an it's a recycled woven fabric. So this is the fabric. You probably can't really see all that well, the actual detail of it. It's very much more like, I would say a bit more like a polyester style kind of fabric. I will look into like the details and I'll put on the screen what the recycled content is, etc. I think it would just have to be the right design for this fabric because it has a little bit of a sheen on it. I don't know if you can see, this isn't the most fantastic lighting in here, but I've had quite a few of the different designs printed on the different fabrics just to see how it changes the colours as well, because it's all a printed fabric. It's not like a woven. It can change dependent on which base cloth you print onto. So I wanted to make sure that I was picking the right base cloth in terms of the design and what is most suited for that design. I do think, for example, like the stripes just naturally look really nice on a velvet. Again, I would either have this so it's got the same design printed on the back, or just go for a plain fabric. But yeah, I'll show you the rest of the samples I have. So this is the cotton linen. So I've got the blue, the sort of more navy blue. It's almost between like a royal / navy blue. I've got like more of the baby pink. This is the velvets again, with the stripe design, and then I have the same fabric design but on the recycled base cloth. Again, I think for this particular design, I think my preference is to go for the cotton linen base cloth. I just feel like, so this is the cotton linen and that's this design. I don't know, I just think like this just has so much of a nicer texture to it. This I do like, but I do just feel like the pattern kind of softens a little bit, and I like that this has a bit more of a sharper detail along the edge. And then this is the third fabric. This is the recycled one. You can kind of see a bit more here that there's a bit more of like a sheen to this, so even more so than the velvet. And then, so yeah, these are the designs that we have for this collection. What I've tried to do is stick to designs that are classic designs that will be a timeless staple in your home. Colour wise, we've gone for very fresh colours. I think personally they sit really nicely together as well, so you can mix and match, or you can just stick to one colour scheme, whichever works best for you. So yeah, my goal is to get those up pretty soon, maybe like mid to the end of Feb, I think, for the whole collection. I'm still working on like the complementary wallpapers and really getting to grips with whether I kind of theme it to spring or whether I go for something that's a bit more... I think wallpaper is a bit hard. Cushions is one of those things that you can just swap in and out seasonally. It's one of the things that I love to just refresh our home with. So like in the spring I'll go and get more like spring summer sort of colours, and then in the autumn winter I'll lean more into the sorts of deeper tones, and obviously like Christmas cushions, etc. But wallpaper I think has to have a lot more, it needs to be a lot more timeless, because it's such a bigger investment, not only in terms of like the financial investment, but you have to invest in that design and everything else. It needs to fit perfectly with your room. You don't want to be redecorating every season or even every year or even every couple of years, so it needs to be something that is a lot more timeless. And yeah, so I'm trying to spend as much time as I can on that. I might have to do it so I like put all of my cushions etc up and then my wallpaper comes a bit later. I don't know, we'll see. So yeah, I thought I would just show you where we're up to and I'll keep you in the loop. I think the next thing that I'm going to do is kind of really sit down and decide which design needs to go on which base cloth, get the mock-ups ready, and then order some proper samples so that I can photograph them. I am also going to photograph some of the fabrics as they are to show like how they work together, how you can like mix and match things, what sort of paint colours you can use with these. So I want to be able to give you guys like the best sort of overall like how these can be incorporated into your home, but equally if you're looking to like completely redesign a room and you've seen these cushions, then I can show you what you compare it with, etc. So yeah, hopefully that will help, and yeah, I will see you guys soon. So I'm currently sat upstairs in my husband's study. He is out at work at the moment, so I'm stealing his office desk because I don't really have anywhere in the house that I can like properly work. I usually work on the dining room table, but it's quite cold because it's a conservatory, so I thought I would just steal his study for this afternoon. I'm just working on some freelance work for somebody that I know, and then I've just got some bits and bobs to do around the house before I pick up my little girl. So yeah, this afternoon is purely just like put my head down and get on with some other work, and then I have another day this week where I'm going to probably sit down and go through all of the samples, etc. So I will take you along with that as well, and I might even start photographing some of the designs, and certainly like trying to figure out what's going to go on, which design's going to go on which base cloth, etc. So yeah, but yeah, the freelance work is obviously a bit of a necessity right now. Being made redundant and being pregnant means that it's like a needs must situation, but it is actually quite enjoyable as well. Like I obviously love interior design. I've been doing it for so long, like 12 years or something, so, and it's what I went to university to train to do, so it just naturally feels like something that I do genuinely really enjoy doing. And yeah, so I don't know like how long in the long term I will continue freelancing, but we will see. I definitely do still want to have like some form of interior design work coming in, whether I just do that privately for like private clients of my own or whether I freelance for other people, I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, I'm just sat working, doing that for a little bit, and then yeah, like I said, I've got just some housey bits to do and then picking up my daughter. I've finished working for the day on my freelance work, so I'm going to give the house a bit of a clean and tidy up before I have to go and pick up my daughter. So I thought I would do a little time lapse because I find it incredibly satisfying watching other people tidy up their house. So I mean, it's not ridiculous, but we had a lot of people over the other day and I've not really properly cleaned up since then. And yeah, just toys everywhere, the usual. So yeah, I thought I would do a little time lapse of that for you. That's me done for the day. I have managed to get quite a bit of work done, both for my e-commerce business and some freelancing work, and I've cleaned the house, which is very satisfying given it's a Tuesday and I don't usually have that luxury. So very good. I've also been out for 2 walks today, so I'm very pleased with that. I would, if my husband was around, I would probably go for another walk because he goes for an evening walk as well. But I'm not going to just because it's quite dark outside and cold. So I'm just going to stay home, do a bit more work on my business and chill for a bit until I go and pick up the little one. But yeah, that was my first sort of vloggy day. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's something that you would like to see more of in my business or anything like that. And yeah, I hope you guys are all well, and don't forget to like and subscribe to be the first one to see more videos. Thank you.